Are you sure you wouldn't care for anything, Mrs.
No,
Whitney?
thank you.
Oh, she knows who I am. Everyone in the plane knows who I am.
Don't let it bother you.
It's gonna be worse when I get home. All the reporters.
Well, I think that should be the least of your worries.
I just don't know how I'm gonna face them because there's gonna be the police and then all the reporters, and I can just hear Geraldine saying, "I told you so."
Well, I don't know Mrs. Saxon very well, but she seems like a very compassionate woman.
I don't want compassion. I just want to be alone. I'm sorry. You've been very sweet to me. Thank you. Why did you come to Switzerland in the first place?
Find the truth.
Skylar is dead. Why can't you just leave him in peace?
Look, there are matters involved here that are far more important than the fact that you're going to have to face a scandal when you get back
what
home.
can be more important?
Well, to begin with, there's a matter of justice to be served. Gavin Wiley happens to be innocent.
I do not believe for a second that Gavin Wiley did not kill Gunther Wagner. And I certainly don't believe that stupid story about fake blood and fake bullets. It's all bizarre.
Look, your husband is a very unusual man who was also very secretive. I'm sorry, I know you don't want to hear about any of this. But he had good reason to be secretive.
Well, I know of none. And we had a very, very special and a very trusting relationship. He told me everything.
I think you're wrong about that. I think he was very good at keeping some secrets. He made a few big mistakes, and I was lucky not to stumble across them.
What about me?
Well, you'll survive. You always do.
You just have everything all figured out in that brilliant mind of yours, don't you?
Not quite. I have a very strong feeling that you're keeping something from me.
I don't know anything about any of this.
Okay.
And I don't care what you or anybody else thinks. I am very, very proud to be Mrs. Skylar Whitney.
That's a good sign. It means you're thinking about yourself, the creature comforts. Now maybe you'll stop worrying about the future.
I can't think of anything on an empty stomach. Ah, here she is.
You? Wait, no. I don't think that's right.
They are. They're both the same order.
Oh, God. And I was right the first time. You go. Mitzi, you're a wonder. That's what my mother always used to say.
Gavin, can you talk and eat at the same time?
Well, it's not polite, but I will if you want me to.
Then you can tell me about these rumors I've been hearing.
What rumors?
Is it true you may not have to go on trial after all?
Mitzi, we don't know anything for sure. I mean, there are a lot of things that have to be cleared up, but well, we should find out in a few days.
That's right. But for the first time in months, I'm feeling very hopeful.
Now that's more like it. Well, I know somebody who wants you to go free for a very special reason.
Who?
Jim Diedrichson. Gavin, he really wants you to direct his acting company.
Yes, he mentioned it. And it's very nice. But I don't feel equipped to take on the job.
Come on, you can do it.
Well, Jody, there's a big difference between directing dancers and movement and directing actors and the spoken word.
Well, I don't know. I mean, theater is just telling a story, just like dance is. And I really think, you know, if you know your left from your right, yeah, and your upstage from your downstage, I don't think there's any problem. Besides, I mean, don't worry about it. I mean, if the play's successful, you get all the credit anyways.
And if it's a flop?
The actors always take the blame.
Mitzi, how come you know so much?
I read a lot.
Anyway, it's very nice of Jim to want to give me a chance. I may take him up on it, if everything works out the way we hope it does.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Look, I tried to call you at the penthouse, but you weren't at home, so I took a chance that you might be here.
Sit down, Kelly.
Yeah, want something to eat?
Thank you. No, thanks.
You look like you're in a big hurry. What's the matter?
I've got some news for you. And it's gonna shock you, so you better brace yourselves.
What is it?
Sky Whitney's dead.
Oh, my God.
I can't believe it. When did you find out?
Michael and I were leaving the house this morning, and he got a phone call.
How? How did it happen?
Well, the details are sketchy as yet, but all they know is that he was killed in San Moritz. A Raven is flying back to Monticello with Damian Tyler.
No, that can't be true. Damian's in the hospital. You sure he's the one who's with her?
That's the report.
Kelly, what happened? Was it a skiing accident?
I don't know, Jody. That's all the details that I know. It's very sketchy right now.
I know exactly what happened.
You do?
Yeah. Detective Tyler goes to Switzerland and confronts Skylar Whitney with the truth. Overwhelmed, Mr. Whitney confesses all of his evil deeds and commits suicide. He shot himself.
Oh, come on, Mitzi. You can't say that. You don't know that for sure.
Why? It's the only possible solution. It's the only way a scenario like this could end. The detective brings back the grieving widow to her home, her empty mansion. And Jody and Gavin are reunited forever. And Gavin can now direct Jim's acting company. Jim is gonna be so happy.
Well, whatever makes Jim happy.
Hello.
Hello. I wasn't expecting you this morning.
Well, I was just thinking about the pictures that you took over at the studio. Do you still have those proofs? I want to make some prints out of them.
Look in the file in the top drawer. But wait a minute, Jim. I made you a whole bunch of prints. Do you really need more?
Well, yeah, if publicity goes as well as we expect it to.
Jim Diedrichson, you're a big faker. You don't need any more pictures.
Yeah, we will eventually. But you're right. That's not what I came over for. I came over because I wanted to talk to you about something.
Other than photography.
Yes.
Fire away.
I want to tell you. Oh, we talked about at dinner last night, about your doubts about me.
Hey. We settled that whole question.
Well, we have, but I don't know about Kelly. He's still intent on proving me to be a fake.
But I told you, I believe you. So don't worry about Kelly. He'll come around.
Well, he does have some good reasons to be suspicious. Well, look who I've been hanging around with. What kind of company I've been keeping.
Well, what's wrong with your company?
The Wilson brothers? I mean, that's kind of a weird pair.
Well, Hector's all right.
Hector's great.
Which leaves Smiley.
Yeah, I never met Smiley. I didn't know anything about him. Hector never told me he had a brother.
Well, don't you think that's significant? I mean, the fact that you never mentioned him.
I don't know. He is a pretty strange guy.
He's a little careless with the truth.
Well, that's just his daily game. I mean, it's like his fantasies run into his routine.
Do you want to know my opinion of him?
Yeah, I do.
There's something about him, Jim, and I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not all games. I'd be careful of him.
Well, I like the sound of that. It's like you're concerned about me.
You know I'm concerned about you.
I'm concerned about you. I never want to hurt you.
Take a good look, Mrs. Carr. It must give you great pleasure to see things reversed. I'm the prisoner now. Only I don't have a husband to come to my rescue.
You were reluctant to see visitors. I'm glad you agreed to see me.
Is there anyone who wants to see me, Mrs. Carr? And there's no one that I want to see. So, that leaves only the curious.
Oh, I assure you, I'm not here out of curiosity.
Oh, I think you are. You see, I think that's the whole purpose of your visit, to make sure that I'm suffering.
Mrs. Bryson,
Well,
please.
you can be satisfied, Mrs. Carr. I am. My life ended when I came in here. Now, that should be of some comfort to you.
Well, now, if you think that, why did you agree to see me?
Perversity. It's the only pleasure I get out of life.
Well, you are wrong. That's not why I'm here. I take no pleasure out of your suffering, even if you...
Even if I took pleasure out of yours. You know, Mrs. Carr, this isn't going to matter to you either way, but now that you're here, I think I'll tell you the reason I was so unpleasant to you. It wasn't because my husband fell in love with you. It was because he was never in love with me. You see, he married me because I was necessary. My family's money supported him, helped him to become what he always wanted to be, a celebrated surgeon. Oh, I wasn't stupid. I knew I was buying a husband, but I also thought that money could buy me love to go with the marriage. It didn't, of course, so I gave up, finally. I gave up on love. When you give up on love, Mrs. Carr, you learn to hate. I turned my hatred of Kenneth on you.
Your husband did love you.
Once.
And you loved him. You still do, don't you?
God, you are self-satisfied. And very clever. You know, the only way to hurt me is to tell me that. It's true.
Mrs. Bryson, I came here to ask you for information about one of your husband's patients. A man named Jim Diedrichson.
Yes. Oh, of course. Tell them to come right in.
I'm sorry, Mr. Carr. I know we don't have an appointment. I know how busy you are, but
We just wanted to find out if what we heard was true. We were down at Sid's and Kelly came in.
That's right.
And said,
What you heard is true. I spoke to the Swiss police. They confirmed the bad news. Sky Whitney is dead.
Now what?
Well, there's some good news, too. Now, the case against Sky is stronger than ever. Gavin, now 2 murders are linked. Gunther's and Bobby Gerard's.
Does that mean Sky killed Bobby, too?
I always felt that Bobby's death couldn't have been coincidence.
It seems almost certain. You see, the police withheld a vital piece of evidence in Bobby's death.
Withheld it? Why?
Well, they sometimes withhold a piece of evidence, one missing detail that only the killer knows. It helps to avoid the cranks who like to confess to every crime. It helps to identify the true statement.
So what was the missing detail?
In this case, a missing shoe. Bobby's body was fully clothed except for the shoe. Despite an extensive search, it was never found. Now we know where it was. It was in the Whitney limousine.
God, that's awful. It's just what we all were afraid was going to happen.
There's little doubt about what happened to Bobby and why. He had to kill her because he had too much to lose by her disclosure.
But, Mike, now Sky is dead.
His death doesn't alter the facts, Gavin.
Well, what'll happen now?
Well, there's testimony to be taken from Raven, from Damian Tyler, from Spencer Varney. But the first thing I'm going to do is petition the court to drop all charges against Mr. Gavin Wiley.
Well, what I have to do now is decide what I'm going to do when I get home and have to face all those people.
Just take it easy. I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Will you help me? Nobody else will.
Of course, I'll help you any way I can. You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
Take my word for it.
Okay. He's gone. Oh, Damian, I don't think I'm ever going to get over it.
Sky's death was a loss for me, too, in a way.
Oh, you two hated each other.
Possibly. But he was my last link to Jefferson Brown, to finding out whether Jefferson Brown was truly dead or alive. My last hope to exonerate my father.
I think I can help you.
What do you mean?
If you promise me that you'll take care of me when we go back to Monticello, because I don't want all those people asking me questions all day, okay? I'm gonna need some privacy. So if you promise me, I think I can help you.
Of course you have my promise. Tell me.
Jefferson Brown is dead.
You know that for a fact?
Yes. Yes, Jefferson Brown died in Switzerland.
Why do you say that? Well, maybe I'm just a little superstitious, but it's the first flight I've had that there's been 2 widows.
That name? Yes, I remember Dietrichson.
Well, how specifically?
Well, when he came to the clinic at Lucerne, there were only 2 patients that Kenneth was treating. I remember one plastic surgery case was completed in a matter of weeks, but Dietrichson was a very complicated process. Kenneth had to restructure his face entirely.
Did your husband ever talk to you about the man?
No, not really.
Since he was at the clinic for such a long time, surely you must have learned some things about him.
Not much. Just that he was a veteran of Vietnam. Of course, there was one way in which he was different from the other patients.
What was that?
He was never alone.
Oh?
He was always with Kenneth's little daughter. Everywhere he went, Valerie tagged along. It was the talk of the clinic.
Really?
Yes, I remember seeing them that summer together, reading poetry together, whispering together, going off into the hills for picnics. Lord knows what went on there. Kenneth didn't approve of that, I can tell you that.
Really, why not?
Because she made a fool of herself. She fell in love with him, or what she thought was love. Can you imagine falling in love with a man whose face you'd never seen? His face was bandaged the entire time. But that didn't seem to bother her. She just kept following him around. There were times I almost felt sorry for him.
Mrs. Bryson, did you see his face after the final surgery?
Briefly.
Uh-huh. Well, what was it like then?
Well, his face was discolored, and there were still surgical scars. It wasn't pretty.
But do you think that you would be able to remember his face if you saw it again?
Oh, I can't be certain. It's been a long time.
I realize that, but would you be so kind as to try? Does this face look familiar to you?
Well, I told you, I can't be certain. But there's one thing I do know.
What's that?
Even with the swelling down and the scars healed, this could not be possibly the man who came to the clinic.